Hey, community group leaders and teachers, I hope you're doing well and having a fabulous day. Hey, I'm excited to introduce this week's Leadership Minute. This is one more tool that we can have in our tool belt to lead more effectively. Throughout the month of January here in 2022, we have started off by looking at different ways that we can grow as leaders in addressing the world that's constantly changing around us. Specifically, we've been looking for some tools that I believe we're going to need as leaders in 2022 to carry us to meet the demands of whatever 22 might bring, whether that ends up being more of COVID or something else altogether. We've looked over the last couple of weeks at the power of intercession. We've looked at the need for us to personally go deep in order to lead other people to depth. We've looked at the intentional components that Paul deployed in diving deep in a relationship with everyone around him. This week, I want to take a look at that relationship component and look at it from another angle. Because while Paul certainly invested in relationships with everyone around him and every church that he planted, and he appealed on behalf of those relationships to everyone around him, he also invested in a few people in different ways and selected a few people from the masses to specifically challenge and encourage to dive deep in a relationship with God and to step up as leaders. Here's what he writes in 2 Timothy 2:2. And these things you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. In other words, Paul says, those things that I've invested in you or I've given to you, it's now your job to deposit them, entrust them, pass them along to other people who will then in turn pass them on to other people. It's really a challenge for discipleship, but discipleship is a big biblical word that basically means take what you've learned, give it to someone else, who will then take what they've learned and give it to someone else. So your job as a leader not only is to spend time investing in relationship with others, pray for those people, ask God to fill you up so that you can pour into them, but then also ask God for wisdom. Who would He have you invest in such a way that they could grow in their walk with God and step up and become leaders themselves? I actually believe that God has called each and every one of us as followers of Jesus to lead ourselves, to lead other people, and lead everyone around us to run hard after Jesus. We're all called to be leaders. God has called some of us to actually step up and grow in a greater way in our leadership capacity. And so this is one example of how Paul challenged Timothy to invest in other people who would ultimately be leaders themselves and invest in others. Our calling as followers of Jesus is to take what we've been given and to give it to other people. If you have any questions about what that practically looks like, I am happy to share that with you and give you some ideas on how that might get started, whether that's over a cup of coffee or a meal or something else. But if you have any questions about that or anything else, please feel free to shoot me a call or give me a call, shoot me a text or an email or something else. I want to help each of us grow to be the best leaders we can possibly be, to help people who are far from God know Him and run hard after Him, and help everyone who's a part of our church family and our church community also know the love and the hope that comes from walking with Jesus. Hey, I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you back here again next week for another round of Leadership Minute. Blessings, friends.